Vô dân quá. Mày coi chừng mày chết.
There are a lot of aesthetically pleasing things in life which I find to be rather enjoyable to look at. Some of them can be worn, some of them can be even eaten. But the thing they all have in common is that they are nothing short of eye candy for me, or as I like to call it, Ocular Nectar. One of these things is the iconic lava lamp, which conquered our little excitable planet during the late 60s and all throughout the 70s with its unique rocket-like design, pretty colors, and overall groovy energy.
Groovy! But didn't they say anything besides groovy back in the 60s?
Well, girls like you still said come and get it.
With this in mind, I would like to talk about said lava lamp for a moment to explain its genesis and how it successfully managed to make its way into thousands of homes and pimped out hippie vans alike. For that we have to thank Edward Craven Walker, a British World War II pilot, an entrepreneur, and also a devoted nudist who even directed his own naturist documentary films under the pseudonym Michael Kettering during the early 60s. I'm not going to go into detail about the man's disinterest in wearing any kind of attire though, as the focus is on the light bulb that popped over Craven Walker's head when he had decided to visit a country pub in Dorset, England, sometime in 1948. See, the man was most likely enjoying a nice cold pint when he then noticed that the quaint establishment had a contraption that was resting on a stovetop. The little device, which was designed by a lad named Donald Dunnett, consisted of a homemade egg timer that was crafted from a cocktail shaker. In it featured immiscible fluids that bubbled from the stovetop's ferocious heat, waltzing about in the glass container for everyone to gaze upon. In that moment, Craven Walker was struck by a bolt of inspiration and was set on making a similar device on his own that would function more as a lamp instead. The man then spent the next 15 years in a small laboratory he built himself, which was located in a shed, mixing up various ingredients in different glass bottles until one of the results satisfied the British visionary. Craven Walker was completely dedicated to perfecting the design of his brainchild, eventually settling for a bottle of treetop orange squash as the prototype, which eventually became the product's most distinct and memorable model. And thus, in 1963, Edward Craven Walker and his wife, Christine Craven Walker, set up a company together in Poole, Dorset, naming it Crestworth. They began to market the lava lamp as the Astro, which came in variations such as the Astro Mini and the Astro Coach, and before they even knew it, the legendary psychedelic lamp was a phenomenal hit that brought in a lot of cheddar for the savvy nudist. Two American men, Adolf Wertheimer and High Specter, saw the Astro in a German trade show and quickly set up a deal with Craven Walker, buying the American rights to manufacture and distribute the lamp on United States soil. The two gentlemen established the Lava Manufacturing Corporation in Chicago, Illinois, and marketed their own version of the Astro, which was known as the Lava Light Lamp. About a decade later, the rights were sold to a man named Larry Haggerty, who subsequently created a subsidiary of his company, Haggerty Enterprises, called Lava World International, producing American lava lamps for the following 30 years. Craven Walker wasn't a chump though, as he was the owner of the international rights at the time, making sure he remained the capo dei capi of the lava lamp business as Crestworth continued to thrive. The Astro, Lava Light, the lava lamp, however you call it, the product swiftly became one of the many symbols of the free love era. Customers everywhere didn't pay attention to the fact that it didn't provide a powerful glow, as a decorative piece served more as a mood setter for any part of one's home, most often in a bedroom or a billiards room. You were practically as square as a crouton if you didn't own one of these decorative lamps during that period, especially since lava lamps sold like hotcakes in the late 60s, adding more kerosene to the fire that was the British invasion. To this day, you've most likely seen at least one lava lamp either in real life or in popular media, such as Ed, Edd and Eddy, The Sopranos, Animal Crossing, and literally any scene in a movie or TV series that references the 1960s. Hell, I got a working lava lamp myself, although it sadly doesn't bear the original Astro lamp appearance. Now, there are a lot of videos on the internet that explain the science behind the lava lamp and how exactly the wax inside of the glass vessel moves so elegantly to the top, only for it to fall down and repeat the process. I have to be honest and admit that chemistry and physics weren't particularly my strongest subjects in school, but I can briefly say that it's not as complex as one may think. Taking inspiration from Pahoehoe lava, which is a common type of basaltic lava that cools down and forms smooth, billowy or ropey surfaces, the lamp consists of a bolus of a colored wax mixture that rests along with a clear or translucent liquid. When one turns on the lamp, an incandescent light bulb begins to shine, with its heat temporarily reducing the density of the wax and surface tension of the liquid. The wax then travels to the top, cools off, loses its buoyancy, and goes back to the bottom to repeat its dance routine. As for myself, I can only add that I've always been fond of the British man's invention, even when I was a little boy. Since my dad is a child of the 60s and my mom shares his love of classic rock and roll, I was exposed to vintage culture from a very young age, which allowed me to give it a good chance and enjoy it for what it is. With that came my appreciation of the lava lamp, as I remember my family owning a tall, tube-shaped one that came in blue, which doesn't work anymore unfortunately. I admired its colors along with the wax's elegant and gentle moves, forgetting about the mundane aspects of life for a moment whilst enjoying the lamp's calming glow.
It would be totally groovy if these lava lamps heated up my profit, man.
And with that, I conclude this episode of Ocular Nectar. Tune in next time to check out the bowling ball, and how its consistency over the decades continues to bring in new players into the sport, basking in the glory of knocking down wooden pins with finesse and grace.